From the Detroit Free Press, it's Monday, January 18th. Here are today's top stories, presented by Bush's Fresh Food Market. Calling all foodies, Bush's is hiring. Are you passionate about food, looking for growth, development, and excellent wages? Come grow with Bush's and apply online at bushes.com/join our team. That's Bush's, BUSCHS.com/join our team.
For the Detroit Free Press, I'm Kerry Jr. II. On Sunday, buildings near the Capitol in Lansing were boarded up, law enforcement blocked some streets around downtown, and a state police helicopter circled above the area. This was all in anticipation for Capitol protests by Trump supporters. Michigan State Police Lieutenant Brian Oleksick said law enforcement was prepared for anything.
We want to make this a safe environment for people to come here and express their constitutional rights, but we are prepared to protect this building as well as the people that are here, so we're not going to tolerate any type of violence.
Among the protesters were about 12 members of the Boogaloo Boys. They openly carried rifles and handguns.
This is our last chance to avoid either a tyrannical government or a bloody and pointless civil war among American people who do not have that much against each other and have more in common than they realize. And a message to the government. We come in peace. We do not intend to commit violence, but I am pleading with you with tears in my eyes and cracks in my voice. If you continue to oppress the American people, they will remain rational no longer.
About 100 protesters attended the event, and by the early afternoon, the protests left the Capitol building. No shots were fired, and no altercations were reported. The TFC Center is being called upon once again to help fight the pandemic. In the spring of last year, the center was converted into a field hospital for coronavirus patients. And last Wednesday, the TFC Center opened its first mass COVID-19 vaccine drive-up clinic in the parking garage. Some 20,000 vaccines were made available to Detroit residents. Mayor Mike Duggan says the scheduling process is efficient and encourages all eligible residents to call sooner rather than later.
On average, you will spend 15 minutes on the telephone, and you'll have an appointment within 15 days. I don't know of any place else in the country where that is happening.
City residents age 75 and older, K-12 teachers and support staff, and child care workers are eligible for the vaccine. If you're a Detroit resident who's 65 and older and you drive a fellow resident who's 75 and older to get their vaccine, you are also eligible to get a vaccine. City of Detroit employees who have to work on site are also eligible to receive the vaccine. Governor Whitmer announced Wednesday Meijer is a pharmacy partner to help administer vaccines across the state. In a release, the company said it's participating under the Federal Retail Pharmacy Partnership Program.
Meijer has 120 pharmacies across our state, and they will help us get closer to our goal.
Starting this week, Meijer will administer the first doses of the vaccine at a limited number of stores in Wayne County to eligible groups. The company said it will expand locations once more doses become available. As of Saturday, the State Health Department reports 1,900 cases of the coronavirus and 103 deaths. The state averaged over 2,300 cases and 64 deaths over a 7-day period. In total, the Health Department has reported over 535,000 cases and over 13,800 deaths since March. For more information on COVID-19 in Michigan, go to www.freep.com.
I'm Frank Witzel with the Detroit Free Press. Every school child taking civics knows America's forefathers enshrined in the Constitution the right to express your views without fear of being silenced and persecuted by the government. But how far does that right really go? Free speech was at the heart of President Donald Trump's remarks to a mob before it stormed the U.S. Capitol. Was Trump simply speaking his mind or inciting an insurrection? The House concluded it was the latter. Trump became the first president in history to be impeached twice. In the past few days, free speech questions have snowballed from permanently suspending the social media accounts of a sitting president to shutting down Parler, a social media platform, to the voluntary suspension of corporate political donations. Some, including Trump's namesake's son, suggested this violates free speech. Most legal experts, like Leonard Nimoff, have drawn distinctions between the government and the private sector. First Amendment free speech protections, they say, apply to the government. But some legal scholars, he said, are arguing that we need to think about free speech differently in the internet age because so much of the public discourse is now online and so much of it is controlled by private entities.
I'm Kirkland Crawford with the Free Press Sports Department, still breaking down the Lions' latest hire. The new general manager is Brad Holmes, the former director of college scouting for the LA Rams. Dave Burkett explains to Carlos Maneras what he likes and doesn't like about the hire.
Don't get me wrong. There are some concerns I think that are legitimate to have, right? Young guy, like you said, it's not so much about the title. It's just that he's never, not even run a building, but been in a building much because he works, in Atlanta right now, I believe is his home base. His experience has been exclusively on the college side. And when I say that, he's certainly been involved in other things, but, he's been a college scouting director and a college road scout and, a national scout. So those sort of things, or a scout for national, I guess, a combine scout. So I think it's fair to have questions about the hire, but why I like it, Carlos, is because I see this as the Lions' Mike Tomlin, the Lions' Sean McVay. And I don't know that it's going to play out that way, but I think the process that led them to get to this point by interviewing, 12 different GM candidates, they came up with a guy in Brad Holmes who they, found to be this very vibrant, person, bright guy, a part of the Rams forward-thinking draft strategies and incorporation of analytics into some of the things they do. And I don't think it's so much as replicating the Rams as it is thinking that, maybe we have a future superstar here and not wanting to let him go.
For more stories from the Detroit Free Press, be sure to check out freep.com. That's FREEP.com. If you're a fan and want to support our quality local journalism, subscribe. Go to freep.com/special offer.